Hello, what is up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Banjo-Tooie for the Nintendo 64/Xbox various systems ranging from the Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, along with Series S, from the likes of the Xbox Live Arcade. So, yeah, last time, I believe that the last time we left off is the fact that we've obviously collected all 90 of those Jiggies. Specifically, we actually collected about, roughly, the last 6 of them for the sake of Jiggies collecting. And all in all, we did have a really great time at the end. So, yeah, today for this episode in particular is the fact that we're going to be hit onto the forms of the final main world of the game. Well, technically, out of all the actual worlds in the game, this world we're going to be hit into right now does not contain any of those collectibles, because obviously that for this episode in particular is the fact that we ended up in Cauldron Keep. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there aren't any collectibles around here, unlike the forms of how it does in the original game, that obviously that you would able to expect to get more Jiggies and more notes from the likes of Click Clockwood. But not in this game this time around, because all you really have to do is the fact that we need to activate those 3 switches, to be more specifically. Stuff like you're able to actually do a split up thing, and also there's going to be Banjo and Kazooie switch together, somewhere behind the actual, Cauldron Keep tower. So, hopefully we'll try to find that. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain, and that's the fact that today's day is, of course, the 15th of October today, in this case in 2021, and I believe, fundamentally speaking, we've only got about 2 weeks left until specifically Mario Party Superstars for the Nintendo Switch is going to be releasing. So, oh goodness gracious me! Oh jeez, that fake Jinjo, man. That he was really about to get me. But of course though, we've already collected every single of those Jinjos now, so we don't need to necessarily worry about those fake Jinjos every once in a while. So, hey Kazooie, there doesn't appear to be anyone in here. Oh yes, there is. The music's changed. Every time that happens, we always end up in a fight. Yeah, Klongo must defend Mrs. Grunty Castle. Oh, hello, Klongo. Don't you ever learn? Klongo clever, learn lots, has learned new potion. Is it as useless as all it gets? Yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So yeah, basically we ended up fighting against with Klongo again, ever since in the previous 2 counterparts, except now we need to be able to deal with him as a different technique he has. Like, as you can see, that he got a, well, let's just say if you want to call it a double team syndrome, from the likes of the Pokemon move. And basically, if he starts drinking their blue potion, you're able to activate the duplicates of himself. The only one you need to keep an eye on for is the real one, which, think of like, you know, if he's brighter rather than dim and dark. So, because if he becomes like dim and dark, that actually counts as a fake. But if you stumble across someone a bit lighter, then that actually counts as real. So, yeah, it's a relatively easy boss fight, especially noticeable that if you experienced the previous 2 fights against with Klongo before, well, he's pathetically easy. So, and fundamentally speaking, this is the final time we're going to be dealing with him, because, well, after when he's been defeated, then we can now able to progress to the forms of the Cauldron Keep itself. So, yeah, Klongo noticed something happening after fights with Bear and Bird. And that is, Sniff Klongo gets less and less handsome now. Mrs. Klongo won't need me anymore. And my controller is disconnected. I think it's probably because I somehow accidentally bashed something onto my leg or something like that, or bashed the controller by complete accident, but luckily it's been fixed. So, yeah, totally forgot about that. So, yeah, so it looks like, I believe, Klongo, he's basically give up on it now. So, it looks like he's somehow heading back home, or just somewhat heading back all the way down to the bottom. So, I guess we'll figure this out until for later. So, but anyways, when we ended up in here, oh boy, we got ourselves the quiz trivia game again. But this time it's called Tower of Treachery. So, yeah, I'm guessing that might be the only differences from there. So, yeah, looks like this is going to be the second time doing a quiz thing ever since in the original game. Although, unlike the forms of the original game, that basically we have to go through a serious amount of questions based off on the likes of that particular board game or something like that. Like, depending on what specific questions you go for, and then basically, if you get the questions correct, then you would able to continue on with your, well, let's just say something like a connected board game. Whilst this time around in here, it's basically a quiz trivia TV show, well, piracy or something like that. I have no idea what I'm saying for this point right now, because it has been 2 days since I actually last touched this, because obviously that Mighty is, you know, still working on Warrior Land 3 as it is. But of course, I think fundamentally speaking, between Banjo-Tooie, along with, you know, Warrior Land 3, that we can probably get those games down, and then whenever we're able to done with those Let's Plays, and then we'll move on to, well, the next few Let's Plays in the future, so... Alright, so let's start with round 1, that basically we have to answer all sorts of questions. Let's see, I think it will be Icicle Grunto. Yep, lucky guess for me. So, yeah, what's the name of the Dragon Boss's brother? Well, I would say Chili Willy. Yep, that's correct for me. And what is the announcement of Mr. Patch? Well, the strange, wobbly, inflatable thing. So, yep, that's correct for me. And, oh goodness gracious, is it, the gold relic? Hey, look at that, I got that one correct. And what's the Cheeto book lost? Well, obviously pages. So, because, well, we need some pages to restore him. So, what happens inside the, oh goodness, fortune telling. There we go. So yeah, every time whenever you get these questions correct, like straight away, you get 2 points. Is it? Oh, nice. Scooby the camel. Huh, awesome. Alright, what's the treasure that leads us for? I honestly don't know about this one, but I'll let someone else answer that one. So, yeah, if you get that one correct straight away, you get 2 points. But if someone makes a mistake, they'll lose points. And as a result, though, like, I would classify for saying I think someone might get this one. So in this case, she's... Oh, she got that one wrong. So, in this case, it's the fact that if you want to able to buzz in the actual question, and if you get that question correct, then you would just only get a point. And if you don't buzz at all, then luckily for you, you're able to move on to the next question. So, it's a little bit more straightforward than he forms of how it does it on certain difficult questions, but, oh wow, no one else picks that. I was quite surprised about this, honestly, so, oh goodness, is it... I don't think anyone else picked any questions here either, so... what is the Lord Frogward pronounced in... Oh, goodness gracious, am I gonna get this right? I'll take a guess here. Oh, an anglerfish. I'm guessing I managed to guess that, although despite the fact there has been quite a long while since I actually known about that particular boss fight. And it looks like one of the player contestants managed to able to get into below 0 points. It's now -2. But on the other hand though, one of Grunt's older sisters managed to got just 1 point. So, as you can tell from the actual the time limit thing right there, you only have like 5 seconds in per question. But then if the round... Oh, this is going to be an easy one. What's the scene of the game? Well, I can definitely tell this is from Cloud Cuckoo Land. But, of course, like in the original game, sometimes it just gives you random questions. So, in this case, nope, that's wrong. It has to be more than 5. So, because I can definitely see that particular familiar pattern. So, there you go. Nicely done. And of course, like the original game, every time you get the questions right, then basically the audience goes like, boo! But then if one of Grantolda's sisters get a point, they somehow cheer for them. I'm guessing because obviously Grantolda wants revenge, so it makes it a little bit obvious. So since we did manage to survive, and it looks like one of the players got, well, smashed. So now let's move on to round 2 then. So it's just me and along with the forms of one of those Grantolda sisters. So I'm guessing... Oh, nice. A candy cane. I like that. What does Bomber rent for Wave Racers? No, you fool! It is Wave Racers! God, you are dumb sometimes. So anyways, the more you're able to actually just to get these questions correct, specifically if you're trying to be fast enough as well, by the way, and also that if you manage able to go far behind any other player, then I believe you lose the actual quiz. So, yeah, that might be something worth knowing for. Ah, dang it! But, luckily I might still get the chance here. Oh no, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but we'll see what happens there. So, buzzer broken, huh? Anyways, let's take a look at the scene. I do definitely know what this is. I think it's something related to, Mumbo's skull. So, where's this? Well, the answer is pretty obvious. It's inside the Mumble skull. So, because I can definitely recognize that particular, green effect going on here. So, at least I understand that. I think this is actually based off from Witchy World, I'm pretty sure. But it looks like someone has already buzzed it already, so... And that was a lucky guess, despite the fact that Grantolda didn't ask the proper question. Oh, really? Okay, whatever. We'll just have to deal with it anyway, so... I'm guessing it's, yeah, Dart Gun Fields. I wasn't paying attention, because I know it has been quite a long time since I actually did manage to visit in the very first world in the game since, well, since the very beginning of this Let's Play, so I do apologize for that. So, okay, so... I do definitely know it's actually based off from the second world, so... Yeah, we'll just see about that then, huh? What color is the record label? Oh, seriously? Oh, I wasn't paying attention to the actual visual identity. So it's definitely not red, but I get the feeling she's gonna choose the correct one. Yep, it's definitely blue. I should have looked on that! Oh, jeez. Well, nothing matters anyway, because I'm gonna lose anyway, so, is it? Okay, at least I got some points back, well, only one of them, per se, so... Is it? Ah, it's not Grunty Industries, so... Crap. That's just bullcrap. So anyway, yeah, as you can see on the left timer right here, it actually shows you how much time left until that round is actually finishes, so... Yeah, that probably explains it, so... Well, she got that one wrong, so... I think my guess is actually... Well... Hellfire Peaks. Although, that I seem to lost anyway, so, yep, there goes my death on this quiz, so... Ah, that's just great. I'm only off by 4 points right there, so... Even though I could have tried, but much like the forms of the original game's quiz trivia game, sometimes it might be pretty dang difficult to able to answer the majority of the questions, but... Oh well, no big deal. But, luckily, as you can see, that we ended up continuing where we left off. Like, we're still stuck in round 2, so our progressioning is pretty much safe. So, well, that has to be he and his partner. Yep, that's definitely one of these questions' answers. The main danger in Grunty Industries quality control is definitely the toxic gas. Pretty standard stuff so far anyway. I do definitely know this is actually from Mayhem Temple, but sometimes you have to pay close attention. How many rays did the sun have? Well, I would say 8, because I can see that familiar symbol. So, nicely done. Let's have a look at the screen itself. Oh, we're back in here again. Alright. But I wonder what specific question they'll go for. Who lives there? Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Prospector. Or Prospector or something like that. I do apologize for that mispronunciation there, so... Well, Taxi pack. Know it all, yep. Well, rewards cheats. Standard stuff. Alright, what spell does Mumbo perform in Witchy World? Power. Because they're able to actually power the actual, specific attractions. So, is it? Ah, dang it, I got that one wrong. But that's okay, because I'm usually 12 points above her, though. And she asks for... Ah, I should have gone for the middle one. Oh well, no big deal. She only has 1 point, though, so it really doesn't matter. Oh, she got that one wrong, though. So... I don't know about that one either, just because it has been a really long while since I actually explored that world. Just mainly because of the fact that we haven't done that much of it, though, to begin with. But hey, what shape is the TV? Ah, I was gonna answer that because I see it on the main menu, but she got it first before me. Oh man, you have to be so competitive on that. Well, 1984. Or in this case, 1984, so standard stuff. And it's pretty obvious, 5 floors to go through. And, what's Little Sun playing in the village? Ah, I was gonna think about the plane, but of course I was a bit slow, so, oh well, no big deal. Alright, let's take a look at the screen. Oh, we're back here again? Oh, jeez. Looks like they've managed to choose that world quite frequently. How many boxes of beans are there? Ah, dang it, I picked the wrong answer. It was definitely 3, isn't it? But that's okay, because we only got, 6 seconds left before this round is about to end. So, yeah, she got this one, so, oh well. No big dealio, and, oh, what's the Soul Store ride? Well, of course, she must have got that, but she hasn't got enough points to catch up to me, so, yeah, I basically now survived in round 2, so, take that. So, I guess there's not much else to explain about the fact that what this is going on, and, because basically, all you have to do is basically you have to be able to win any kind of, like, rounds and all that stuff, but, that's essentially how you're gonna do for this point. Although, as you can tell, Grandtola is gonna change her rules a bit on the 3rd and the final round, and this meaning about the fact that not only do we have to do with the harder questions, but also, get this, we need to reach for a certain amount of points. Like, I believe, specifically, that I believe Grandtola was gonna ask us that we need to beat for about, well, 15 points or higher. So, yeah, 15 points or higher. So, the latest adventure is definitely Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, despite the fact that a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings with this. So, well, this is simple. Red and yellow spots. Easy peasy. What's the name of the Klugeland athlete? Is it Mr. Fab? Ah, no, it's Mr. Fit. I just realized. Ah, shoot. I've no idea, oh yeah, Terry. I was thinking about something else for a moment, but apparently it's definitely Terry, so... I would say, 3? Yeah, it's definitely 3. Because I recognized that from the start. What type does not seen on... Yeah, I'll skip that because I have no idea about dinosaur types and stuff like that, so... I have no idea what the poster is for Jet Force Gemini because I heard about the game, but I've never actually played it, so... you can race around in a Clockwork Mouse, so... Specifically with, Cannery Murray, infamous race. Super Stash Deluxe. Yep, that's the one. But yeah, there's not much else I can say. Yeah, I'll just go skip that because I have no words to think about it. What spell does the... Oh, this is gonna be easy. Sunlight. There we go. So I just need 3 more points. And from the fairgrounds, which one is not available? I might skip that one too. But thankfully, you can able to skip some of these questions if you don't know about. So, in this case, is it, Oh, nice. I got that one correct. Which one of the worlds has the most letters of its name? I honestly don't know because, well, it has been a long while since I actually did manage to experience some of the previous worlds. Oh, I don't know. I might skip that one too. So, in this case, though, is the fact that, okay, so let's see. I would classify for saying, is it Jolly? Ah, dang it, I got that one wrong. Whoops. But still, we got loads of time left, so Honeybee. Standard stuff. So now I'm back to 14 points, and, well, super easy. A Jiggy and a Cheeto page, because we've already come across to that since the very beginning. And we can't afford to mess this up though, because obviously we do definitely need to survive this somehow. Because if we get the question wrong, you lose 2 points, so yeah, that's gonna be something worth noting for the sake of time. So, and I think that's it. So, that's the end of final round. What a useless score that... Huh? What's wrong with the scoring system? It must be broken. You can't have got that many points. No. I declare the win invalid due to faulty equipment. Oh dear, so what happens now? I don't know. Any ideas? You could escape in a cowardly fashion like in the Banjo-Kazooie before we kick your bony butt. Yes, I could. Thanks, Bird Brain. Fortunately, I've built a rocket into my booth for this very reason. I'll be waiting for you at the top, like last time. But this time, you'll be the ones taking the fall. So once again, he got away, so, but this time he'll pretty much wait us to at the very top. Right, come on, Kazooie, let's go and see where that door that's just opened leads to. Do you reckon that's the end of the game? I doubt it. We not had the credits yet. That's true. Okay, let's go. And somehow we escaped from that particular crushed up contraption. So, and yes, just like the original game. Oh, so sorry, mate, for when you died during in 2009. So I'm so sorry for that. So anyway, much like the previous game, Banjo-Kazooie, that's basically after when you complete the actual the quiz trivia game, once again it takes you straight to the credit sequence, which it actually shows you, well, I would say specifically, much like in the previous game on the Xbox Live Arcade version, it pretty much shows every single staff members based off from the likes of, oh, it did actually show us the fonts of the original game too. Oh, I forgot about that. Or specifically the original version of the game. So, yeah, I guess I somehow forgot about all that stuff, honestly. Because again, it's been 2 days since I actually last touched this. So, but of course, the game itself is not exactly over yet. Because obviously Grandtaughter got away. And I'm sure enough that she will say that we'll meet her there at the very top of Cauldron Keep, even though, mind you, that we're not exactly completely done with the entirety of Cauldron Keep yet, because obviously there's one more thing to deal with before we move on to the forms of the extra video, which I'll do that at some point, specifically on next Wednesday. So because of that, while this is going on, a few things I want to explain, and that's the fact that obviously, as I mentioned this earlier, yeah, we only got 2 weeks left until Mario Party Superstars is about to roll around on the Switch. And from what I've seen an overview trailer, specifically in the Japanese version of that overview trailer, looks very promising, all things considered. So, yeah, that might be something worth noting for. And, I'm sure there was an English version in here somewhere at some point or another, but we'll see what happens there. And, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that, well, as far as I think that I've already mentioned about this ever since in Cloud Cuckoo Land World, that I was very excited when the Kingdom Hearts games are now finally coming to the Switch, but there's only one downside, and that's the fact that it's all cloud versions, and as a result, you really need to get a much more better internet connection, which as a result, I was expecting they were able to bring in the normal variations of the compilation games. Well, third one, it makes a little bit, well, sense, I think, for able to actually have the cloud version, but for the compilation games on the Kingdom Hearts games coming to the Switch with cloud variations, it just doesn't make that much sense to me. Because although I understand because of how the fact that it might actually run a little bit more better, although I have no comments to say because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually mentioned something like this, but still, I have no comments there. So, I guess I should probably explain about the forms of my final thoughts of Banjo-Tooie before we're able to finish up the game. Well, to be more specifically, the finale portion of the game. So, I will say, this is certainly a great game I've ever played, although it might not be as perfect as the original though, but sure enough, it still looks enjoyable as it is, and sure enough though, that you can probably still recommend getting the game, either on the Xbox various systems, or the original N64 cartridge version, although, unfortunately the UK version is pretty expensive at the moment, which I'm not exactly sure why it becomes expensive, but regardless of everything else though, you should still recommend getting this title, especially noticeable if you're the Banjo-Kazooie fan such as myself, even though mind you, until in 2008, it gets really like a downhill for the majority of the Banjo-Kazooie games, although the last good Banjo-Kazooie game was actually on the Game Boy Advance, despite the fact it was in the isometric view, but we'll talk more about it until next year, for 2022. But, from now on though, yeah, while the credits has been going on, I'm presuming it actually shows you exactly the same, you know, aspects, or specifically, for that matter, shows you the exact same environment, set pieces, every time whenever you see the actual creators, who actually not only make the original version of the game, but also the Xbox Live Arcade versions as well, like still showing you, you know, Mayhem Temple portion, or Isle of Peaks, or, well, Witchy World, or Spiral Mountain as you can see, and also some other worlds as well, and there's also the skip button as well, but I refuse to able to skip this because, well, I believe after the credit sequence will be finished, there's going to be another cutscene involved, so we're able to actually sit right through it, and, yeah, it's actually not too difficult though, for I've played the actual quiz trivia game in this game, although, to be fair though, because every time you're able to actually die on that particular quiz trivia thing, you're able to respawn where you left off from the likes of, or you still get kicked out, from the actual world, but thankfully the checkpoint progressioning is very generous with you, so that way you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning portion, unlike the original game, that if you somehow failed on that particular quiz trivia fun thing on the original game, well, you got to go all the way back to the beginning, and then, well, it just feels kind of like a bit difficult for that regard or something, I have no words to say, so, yeah. And the story itself, it looks very dark compared to the forms of the original game, which I don't mind for the actual tone of the game, which it still looks very good. And the gameplay, super spotless, and especially this time around though, is actually more open world than the forms of how it does in the original game. So I do kind of like that. And also the graphics themselves still look spectacular, even originally on the Nintendo 64 title, it still looks really damn good. The soundtrack is quite good as well, even though I don't remember the music as much as the original game though, because the original game's soundtrack is just my nostalgia. And controls, well, perfection as always, although on the Xbox Live Arcade version they somehow managed to able to swap things around with the actual control stick aiming or the thumbstick directions, because as far as I'm aware, like for example, if you're trying to swim up, you have to tilt the control stick up as opposed to down, unlike the original game, or the original version of the game I should say. Why do I keep on saying the original game? Because, well, again, I just felt a little bit slightly tired today. Well, no one there is extremely tired as before, but regardless of such though, that's as far as I can say about it. But overall, this game is a must-have, even especially noticeable about the fact that, well, it's a great game overall. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but at least it still looks really dang great, even especially noticeable how incredible the journey went throughout. So, yeah, it says copyright 2009 as in Microsoft Corporation, and that was it for that particular credit sequence. So now let's see that particular cutscene right there, where I believe Banjo and Kazooie is about to do its problem solving right here. Well, don't just stand here. There's still time to save my brother and Jingling by reversing the gun's settings. but there's no instructions. No problem. I'll just press a few buttons and see what happens. No! There, that should do it. You crazy feathered punk! Anything might happen now. What's gonna happen now? I wonder what will hit down there. Meanwhile, back in the, I would say in Jinjo Village. Look, it's working! Ha! I believe you owe me an apology, dumb jars. Not a chance. Yay, everything's restored. Thanks, guys. Life's not much fun as a zombie. But there's still more to go for this point. Bottle's next then, Kazooie. He's been lifeless for quite a while, so I think you'll better turn it up to full power. Not until Soldier Boy apologizes. Sorry, Kazooie. Thank you. Now it's going to be targeting at the forms of Bottles himself. And I'm presuming what Banjo-Kazooie can do is that they managed to bring everything else back to its normality. Like, to be more specifically, the Jinjo family is now in its normal life, and also, they bring Bottles back to life! That is super dope, man. Oh no! Look at the time! I'm really late for dinner. Miss B will kill me. So you better hurry up. I don't care how burnt it is, you're still eating it. It's not my fault. The witch killed me and I've only just come back to home. Yes, I'm sure you have, dear. Wait a minute, how come Klongo is back? Goodness, you two be. Yo, I'm King Jingling. And this fine fellow is Klongo. So, yeah, I guess that's not much else to say about this ending. It's quite harmless, so that everything else goes back to normal and everything. Again, I was expecting to be able to read the dialogue, but honestly, I found it kind of difficult in this version, unlike the original game that just runs a bit slower, so I can give myself easy reading. So I do apologize for that, folks. I truly apologize. So, ooh, lovely. I'll make us some nice scones. Or scones. But where's Banjo? He's really the real hero. This is escaped, so brave bear and bird going after her. They join us later, but now let's party! Klongo doesn't like the actual this potty pooper thing or something like that. So anyway, what about Grunty? Oh, I think we thought to just quite take a, you know, have a quick look and stuff like that. Once again, I apologize for that particular, can't keep up with the actual the dialogue text boxes here and there, so I must admit I do apologize. So, because I've almost felt a little bit tired today, so. But anyways, so now we got that out of the way, and well, everything's been restored, right? Well, as I said, that we're not exactly done with this yet though, because there's one last thing to do. But of course, in order to finish Gruntilda off, that basically we need to collect about 70 jiggies at minimum. So in that way, you can able to, oh look at that, we have that familiar face from the original game. We have, well, the forms of ding parts. So remember me? No, not really. I helped you at the end of Banjo-Kazooie. Oh yeah, that old stink part. Oh, Kazooie, you always just managed able to have some bit of, well, rude humor here and there, which I always like. But anyway, so instead of going inside Dinkpod, unlike the forms of how it does in the first game, so I guess we need to head out there, and sure enough, I'm presuming that pretty much leads us to at the very top of the Cauldron Keep, which pretty much leads us to the final battle. So yeah, I guess suffice to say, oh, and also we have the warp pads as well, so yeah, I guess we'll end things off here. So, join me next time on more of Let's Play of Banjo-Tooie. That is the fact that we'll hit on to the finale portion of the game by going for the final boss of the game against with Gruntilda, the witch, again. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Later, fellas.